Hey everybody, this is Hogan Brown with Loon Outdoors, and today I'm going to show you how to tie Hogan's Creature. This is a pretty simple, little small crayfish, kind of even a pseudo streamer type of pattern, and I fish it a lot in the early summer and spring for smallmouth and largemouth bass, but I'm sure wherever you're at, if you have trout that eat crayfish, you could fish it for those as well. Whenever I design a crayfish pattern or something I'm going to fish very close to the bottom, I always try to design a fly that's not going to break my heart when I lose it. So I try to keep it pretty simple, yet at the same time have all the elements that I need in it to get the job done and seal the deal with one of those fish eating it. So let's talk about how to tie this fly. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at when we tie Hogan's Creature is the hook. Basic hook is an Airex TP650 bent shank streamer hook. This is a size number 1, but I'll also tie this in a 2, maybe even a little bigger if you want to go up to a 2/0 for some of those bigger largemouth. So I start just basic hook in the vise. My thread, I'm going to use Vivus 50D GSP, but really whatever works for you, nice heavy streamer thread will work. And I'm going to work down around this bend. One thing that's really cool about this hook and its design is this kind of curved shank right here, that when this fly is stripped, it goes from down to up very easily, like a natural kind of movement of a crayfish fleeing. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a little bump to split our legs. I'm going to use Cohen's Carp Dub. This is Crazy Orange. And this is a great dubbing for a lot of different type of flies, from carp to bass to smallmouth, probably even some trout. One thing I really like about this color is the blues. It's a nice kind of center piece that's we're gonna use this to split what will eventually be our claws. But one thing I really pay attention to with crayfish is when they move or things pulse, whether the tail, the claws, that there is a softer color seen when that happens. Meaning that when these claws are going to spread in a defense mode, that there is going to be this softer blue showing that kind of softer underside of the belly or underneath the head. And I always give it a little extra, as you saw there, to kind of pull out. I like a little, almost like a tail coming out there. Next thing we're going to tie in is the antennas. And for the antennas, I use spinnerbait skirts, okay? But these are basically stiff, round rubber legs. And you can buy these at any fly shop or any bait shop. Just going to cut 2 off. I'm going to take them and I'm going to set them right on top of the fly. I like these because they're stiff. They're not going to foul or tangle around the hook. Just lay those right on top. Next step is I'm going to tie in my claws. Okay, for these claws, I've been using the shimmer rabbit strips in crayfish orange. Okay, from Hairline. These have the silver shimmer. These are great, great product. If you look, they got this kind of two-tone tip. And I'm going to take back end, give it a nice lead, and just tie it right in. Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to extend it out a little bit. And one thing I do is I always keep these shorter than I think they need to be. And part of that is that that shorter leg is going to remain out. It's going to be a little stiffer. If you make these incredibly long, which a lot of us have a tendency to do, they're going to foul and they're not going to splay out in that defensive position, which I think is a key for our species of bass and even trout. So at this point, you got the back end done. And again, like a lot of my flies, there's a lot of different things you can do to mix it up or change or tweak to make it yours. You can throw some eyes, mono eyes coming out if you want, or anything like that. But like I said, one thing I always try to do with my heavy flies that I'm going to be fishing on the bottom is create a fly that if I do lose it, I'm not going to be heartbroken. So next thing I do, I'm going to take those same legs, and again, you can mix up the color if you want here. I'm going to take 3 strands. I'm going to take those 3 strands, set them right in on top of the hook shank, center them up, right in behind that kind of bump, tied in from the claws. And I just kind of figure 8 wrap them like you would a jimmy leg or a stonefly or something like that. And then move that thread back right up against those claws. Then I'm going to take a EP minnow brush. Okay, this is the 1.5 inch wide UV speckled brown. Okay, good crayfish color, but again, pick yours. You can decide. It's the beauty of any of these flies. Tie it right in at the back and then move that thread up forward. I'm going to give that brush 1 wrap. Then, just like a rubber leg, I'm going to pull that first set of legs forward, tack it down with a wrap. Okay. Take that second set of legs, pull it forward, tack it down with a wrap. Then take that third set of legs, pull it forward, tack it down with a wrap. Okay? And it does not have to look as clean as a stonefly by any means, because then I'm going to bend all those legs forward and really kind of pack that brush down. You can also do this with dubbing, chenille, any type of palmering material that you like. For me, I like the brushes because, again, they're easy, they're quick, and I like the longer one because what I'm going to do here is once I get up right about to that curve is I'm going to tie it off. Trim it with my precision scissors. Let that get deep into them and cut it so you're not chunking up that front part, but that back part in that precision scissor, which make it so nice that you can kind of basically beat up part of the blades in the back, cutting that wire and not mess up your tip. Then at that point, I'm going to spin the fly. I'm going to take this thicker part. I'm going to take my big scissor and trim it. Just kind of cut it down to give it that shape. And I'm going to take both sides, cut it right up to that first set of legs. Then on the bottom, I'm going to actually trim the whole bottom close. And this other side, trim it close right up to that first set of legs. And it gives it that kind of nice taper of a crayfish, but doesn't lose that bugginess that I think is so important. At that point, I'm going to tie it off. Clip it with my precision scissor. Make a kind of inspection of it. Look at it. Make sure it looks good. Put it back in the vise. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sculpin head. This is a fish skull sculpin head. Okay. This is the size 8. Okay. Now you can paint this if you want a hot color or do anything to it, whatever works for you. I'm going to put a little bit of thin UV clear on the head. Now you can use super glue as well, but usually I just put a little of this on. Take the head, slide it over, smash it down. You get some outflow of the UV clear. Hit the initial set with the infinity light. Let it dry, give it a spin. Then I take the tip of my thin and I just kind of seal around that front edge. Give it a nice stopper. Then hit it again with my infinity light. Now, if you want to add the eyes, you can do that as well. I don't on this fly just because that's the back end. Then I'm going to kind of add a little finishing touch with some UV Fly Finish Hot Orange. And I'm going to go in the little dips here on the back and fill this in. And hit it again, let it bake with that infinity light. And one reason I do this is that the way this hook is designed, when you strip or come tight and pull, that skull's going to come up. Those legs are going to tuck down, and they're going to get a flash of this little hot spot underneath the head. And I think that's a nice little addition to any style of crayfish pattern. You can also add red, green, kind of match the hot version of whatever the base color of that fly is. Then the last thing I'll do while I have this out is I'll pull each set of legs out, give them a trim across, and keep those kind of short and pokey coming out of that body. And you're ready to drag the bottom with Hogan's Creature for whatever you wish, bass, smallmouth, or trout. Hogan Brown at Loon Outdoors. Have a great day.